Hi everyone, Michele Gibson here with Remax First, Remax First 2, Remax Tri-County, and Remax First Class, our newest office in Middletown, New Jersey. I'm joined today by 3 top agents. They're gonna go over their business with buyers. This is so important today in this market as we see the adjustment coming. Hi guys, welcome. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure.
Thanks.
My name is John DeStefano, and I work at Remax First in East Brunswick location.
Hi, I'm Christine Barrett. I work at Remax Tri-County, and I've been there for 25 years.
Awesome.
Jeez, I'm a baby next to you guys. My name is Kareem Ramos. I work at Remax First Realty 2 in Cranford, and I've actually been in that office now for 5 years. So.
Right. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Kareem, how did you get into the business?
Oh, geez. To make it quick, basically, it actually was a calling for me. I did motivational speaking. I still do motivational speaking to give back. And during that entire time, I actually met some people on a tour in Canada, very wealthy and powerful. And they actually told me on a plane ride, we were taking a private plane to Toronto, and they said to me, "Why aren't you doing real estate?" I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" They're like, "You would be perfect as a real estate agent, and you know how to deal with people, you know how to deal with the emotions. You deal with us, we're pains in the, in the neck, and, we drive you crazy." And I said to them, I said, "You know what? I've noticed on this flight, the 3 of you guys all have the same thing in common. You own businesses, you read the same books, and you all invest in real estate. So I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to go get my license."
Oh, that's awesome.
So I did, got my license. Did not happen the first try, unfortunately. I'm not a good test taker. But I got into it knowing that I was going to change lives financially. I went to a seminar with Tony Robbins, and he picked me out of the crowd. It was about 3,000 of us in this crowd. It was a small thing. And he says, "What do you do?" And I said, I do real estate, residential and commercial. He says, "Jesus Christ." He's like, "Listen, everyone in this room is probably a realtor. I can throw a rock out of the window and hit a realtor in the head." And I'm on the Teletrons with the microphone, and I'm like, "Oh my God, he's embarrassing me. I'm sweating." And I'm like, that's what I do. So everyone starts booing him. He's like, "All right, relax. Listen, I understand that's what you do, Kareem, but what do you really do?" And I took a moment. I asked him if he could come back. He said, "No, we have 4 more days. We'll stand and wait." So under pressure, I told him, "Okay, I know what I do. Ask me." He says, "Okay, what's your name? Where are you from?" I said, "I'm Kareem Ramos. I'm from Woodbridge, New Jersey." He says, "Okay, Kareem from New Jersey. What do you do?" I said, "I help change people's lives financially through the real estate market to better their lives and their legacies." He goes, "Absolutely. And the moment you start treating your people that way, your business will double." I came back. I was on a team at that time. I was probably the 100th agent on the team. It was a huge team. And I said, "It's time for me to grow. Time for me to, take myself out of comfortability and get into the uncomfortable part and start growing." And that's what I did.
Any idea how many transactions you did last year? 50, 100?
No, I wish I could say 100. No, I'm more like in the 50 area. I'm like down in that area. I really don't pay attention to it. I know we were joking about that. For me, I'm just working on the next transaction, whether it's commercial or residential development. I'm just working on the next one. I'm happy to, and we all have amazing careers. We have jobs that we can have freedom, and we do what we love, and we change people's lives. So as long as I'm in that direction of knowing that my financial freedom is still being worked on, my future is still looking good, I'm changing lives, I'm happy.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Chris, how did you end up in real estate?
So this is a good one. I've never had a job that I ever received a paycheck. So before I still do for 35 years, Mary Kay Cosmetics.
Okay.
So I'm an independent sales director for Mary Kay. I've won 6 cars. I was a director, and then my life was turning, and I needed to really make some real money. My father was a part-time realtor for many, many years, and he says, maybe you should just get your license and let's work together, because I was always doing the calling with the cosmetics. So I was like, okay. Got my license, and then we just rolled from there. There were years that we did 160 to 125 a year units. He taught me everything I know. For the past, I guess it's 5 years now. Actually, it's probably 10 years, and he has passed away. But everyone knows us as the Barrett team, and I totally believe in giving back.
Yeah.
It always does make you feel good. And the same thing with Mary Kay, it changes a woman's face. Now it's just a bigger project. When they purchase a home, that's one of the most important things that they do. So it's exciting. I love it. I couldn't see myself doing anything else. It's not work for me.
Yeah.
I'm a single parent with 2 kids. They're both grown. They both own houses before COVID, which now they got so much equity in their houses, and they're so happy that they're on their own. So it's been a great ride, and it's not work when I go to work.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah, no.
John, those are 2 really tough stories to top. How did you get into real estate?
Never trying to top anyone, but I do have my own story. I got into real estate. So I'm an ex-contractor. I own my own construction company for a decade in Staten Island, New York. That's where I am from. After Hurricane Sandy, my company went out of business. Had a really hard time with getting jobs at that time. Lots of estimates, not a lot of landing the actual jobs. So I ended up losing my company the March after Hurricane Sandy. I ended up being a operations manager at a warehouse in Hillside, New Jersey. I was there for 5 years, built myself up to the vice president of the company, and I started out growing the business. I wasn't making a lot of money, but I was the vice president of the company. The president ain't going nowhere, so what am I supposed to be doing here? So I started thinking about what could I do to revamp my life. And I wanted to go back to what I was good at, which is construction, but I also did not want to abuse my body again, because I used to walk out of the car half crippled. I have herniated discs, spinal stenosis, arthritic spurs. I mean, I'm blessed to be walking and working out.
Awesome.
And so I wanted to take my knowledge and take that into a different field where it didn't abuse my body. So I decided to get my real estate license. I did pass the first time, which I was super excited about. I worked my rear end off for it, doing it at night while I had my full-time job. And I was so excited, I posted it on Facebook.
Very cool.
And then guess what happens? My boss sees the post. Calls me up the next day. He goes, "Oh, you're going to be a realtor?" I said, "Yeah, listen, I'm really just trying to do different things, see what I can try out. I'm planning on doing it nights and weekends." He goes, No, you should do it full time. You're fired."
No.
And so trial by fire, I had to dive right in and really figure it out. And it took some time. It took me probably about 8 months to get my first client. I invested in myself. I dug myself deeper in debt. I took credit cards and spent money on marketing, and I was not a cold caller.
Don't do that. For those of you guys listening, don't do that.
I invested in myself. My goal is no one wants to put themselves in debt, but I believed in what I was doing. And at the time I had no job, I had no income. I was in tax debt. I was in financial debt. And I looked at my life and I said, we're up to our eardrums in debt.
Yeah.
Either I figure it out or we're going bankrupt anyway.
Yeah.
And so I pulled the trigger and marketed myself and figured it out. And the reason why, so we talk about why we do things, and Kareem is doing it for the financial benefit of other people, which again, generational wealth comes from real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I did it to help people as well. I believe I earn the money I earn as a byproduct for the service that I provide my clients. And I truly did what I did because people are buying homes and not a lot of agents actually know about the home. They don't understand the water problems, the structural problems. How old is the furnace? How old is the water heater? How old is the roof? Is this a good home, a bad home? Are you falling into the money pit? I always bring the Tom Hanks movie, The Money Pit. No one wants to own the money pit. And so I want, and I'll never forget when I was in school, my teacher asked everyone, so as Tony Robbins said, "Why do you becoming a realtor?" And I raised my hand and I said, "I want to be a realtor because I want to help people buy good homes and avoid the money pit." And he looked at me and says, "That's garbage. You know you're doing it for the money." And I'm just looking at him like, I cannot believe this guy just said that.
Yeah,
And
wow. Yes, that's crazy. And we're grateful to have all of you with us in business. I just did a little podcast yesterday with a friend of mine, and we were talking about chasing the money and how difficult it is for people who genuinely don't and do it because they love it and care.
It comes naturally.
people who chase it.
Yeah, it comes naturally.
And when does the chase end? When are when does it stop?
Right. If you read the book, something about influencing people, I can't remember the exact
how
name
to
of the
influence
book.
people, how to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
Yes.
It really held true to me because you don't look out for you.
Right.
You don't worry about what you need. Worry about what they need. If you give the world what they need, the world is going to give you everything that you deserve. And I truly, and when I started my team, when I brought this kid onto my team, I looked at him and said, I don't care what you know about real estate. I don't care how much business you've closed. I don't care anything. I said, I want to know, are you doing it for the client?
Yeah.
Are you going to pass on a transaction and kill a deal if you're in a transaction that's not the right thing for your client? You put the client first, you're in.
It's
you
true.
don't, you're out.
It's true. And that actually makes me very enthusiastic to know, because yesterday we did a training and all we spoke the core of credibility is, trust and integrity and putting others first and being honest, and to know that that's who we work with, that makes me really proud.
Yeah.
You guys should be proud of the businesses
Absolutely.
that you have and the intent. I think intent matters.
Yeah.
So I prepared a couple of questions because everyone wants to know what the great buyer's agent does in this market, other than cry and spend a lot of money on gas.
I bought electric car.
You did.
I did.
I was going to ask.
I did.
Who did the Tesla?
I traded it in 2 weeks ago.
Wait until you have to replace the battery.
Yeah, well, I put so many miles on my car that I'll have to trade it in a year from now anyway. So
I'm going to start with you, John. What % of your business currently is buyer based?
at the moment, about 50%.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Chris, is it the same for you?
Yeah, I am about 50% this year starting. Last year, there was more listings than buyers, but I do have a buyer agent that works with me too that I pass off.
Let me get you a tissue for the more listings than
I know,
buyers. I feel
poor-
really bad for you.
poor thing,
Poor
love
Chris.
it.
Love it. Kareem, how about you?
I'm pretty much the same. I started in the business just as a buyer's agent. I know my broker Olivier hates it when I say this, but I don't cold call. I will eventually.
We'll cut that out later, Art. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly. And right now, the business has naturally turned into an almost 50-50.
Right. So that's fabulous, actually, because they say the healthiest businesses are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
50-50.
it's all organic on that level. It wasn't cold calling or anything.
That's
Just
awesome.
thank God.
In all honesty, I don't know what you guys think about this, but working with buyers is extraordinarily gratifying. It's a lot more work, a lot more gas, a lot more travel, a lot more time. But I'll be honest with you, I really love it. Giving people the keys, celebrating that first time home purchase, there is something extraordinary about that experience.
I actually had a closing at 9 o'clock this morning, and one of my signatures is a huge basket. They're like 120, 150 bucks with alcohol and all these like wine, things like that. And it was for these sisters. They closed on their house because they're moving to Florida. And we just took tequila shots in the kitchen.
9:30 in the morning, the life of a realtor.
I made a post on social media. I think Johnny Depp said it's happy hour anytime. So
who else would say it but him?
And now look how far we've come. We're quoting
they
Johnny
might
Depp.
edit this.
Yeah.
You might edit this out as well. This one might be edited as well. But we I told the ladies, I said, hey, you trusted me in one of the largest deals you'll ever come across. For that reason, please have one shot. Coconut tequila with me. It could be small. Don't worry about it. But just so that you had a shot with your realtor, because I'm sure you've never done this before. They were like, absolutely not. Let's take the shot.
That's awesome.
And then we chased it with pineapple juice. So
Kareem, where are you getting your
vitamin C.
buyers right now? Where are you finding the buyers?
So I get my buyers from being in this business for such a long time. The one thing that the advice I want to give to agents is don't have the commission breath, right? We're in the business for longevity. If you're really in this business with true intent from your heart and your core, you're in it for longevity. You're in it to really help and improve people's lives. My advice to people is remember one thing: the house sells itself. It sells itself. Your job as a realtor, and a lot of agents forget this, and this is why business comes to me, which is great, because agents do not handle it correctly when they're representing their buyers. My job as a realtor is to educate my clients, protect my clients, and get them to the closing as painless as possible. And if they can make some money on the back end for inspections and stuff like that, great. But always be honest with them, because the last thing you want to do is knock on that door a year later and say, hey, remember me? And they're like, we hate you. You know, I bought this
Yeah.
lemon, you know?
That's a rough one.
Right, and I do that every year. I knock on everyone's door. They close with me. I bring them a pie for Thanksgiving, a bun cake, and I say thank you. They're always shocked. But to answer your question, being a buyer's agent, you have to really just treat people with respect and understand that their time is just as valuable as yours.
Yeah.
Even when they call you at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, treat them with respect, treat them like they're humans, appreciate their business because they can go to any other agent out there,
Yeah.
you know, but they're choosing you, you know, and that's, for me, that's how my business has grown. That's how I've gotten my business. I do advertise a small amount on realtor.com, but very minimal business now. It's at the point I'm on my 6th year, because I started another office for 1 year. I'm on my 6th year. And now it's just recycling, right? Those people that I keep in contact with, I reach out, I say, hey, how are you? How are the kids? How'd you guys do during the pandemic? Is everything okay? Those are the people that are like, hey, like this weekend, like we were talking before, I have a listing appointment in Plainfield, and this is a buyer that bought for me like 5 years ago.
So you're recycling your past clients.
Yeah.
Chris, is it the same for you?
Yeah, most of mine are from my sphere or referrals from my sphere. And the same thing, like the buyer that closed on Monday, it was a seller that sold, and then I ended up, the son bought the house, and then the son referred me to his father, and then he came from Maryland. I got him all into an apartment to buy a house, to be able to buy it, put cash down, have the cash, and be able to close without having a contingency, house sale contingency. So they're all coming from past relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, relationships is really where it is.
The referral's amazing. Word of mouth.
Yeah,
Word of
absolutely. Healthiest business is based on
Absolutely.
referral. John, is it the same for you at this point?
It's a little bit of everything. So sorry. I do market, so I get business from a trifecta of areas. So I do a lot of networking. I belong to networking groups. I build lots of great relationships with professional colleagues. Just like with real estate, where I do for the client, the money is the byproduct of the service I provide. Same thing with networking. I'm finding ways to help other professionals grow their businesses, make money, become successful. As I help them grow, they work to help me grow. So I get business from networking. I do get business from my sphere, from referrals, and then I also do marketing on Google. I have over 80 5-star reviews on Google, so I get
great.
people that literally
Very
find
cool.
me
That's
from.
good, yeah.
I've gotten clients from California, from Florida. It's wild.
Oh, that's
Google is a very
wonderful.
powerful resource.
Very
Okay,
cool.
so is it a BNI or a LaTip
LaTip.
group? It's LaTip.
Yep.
And for those people watching, those are organized networking associations where you
Correct.
join, and there's an obligation for you to meet monthly.
Yep.
There are all different kinds. There's Chamber of Commerce. There's
Rotary.
Rotary. You know, if you're interested in something like that, hit us up and we'll direct you for where you can find your local networking group, or even start one. A lot of really talented agents come into the business and they put together a team of professionals and they start their own networking group.
That's what I did. We
Yeah.
literally started off from scratch.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay, look
yeah,
at this.
yeah.
I love it. What do you feel your unique value is to your client?
My construction knowledge. Again, I got into this business to help people avoid buying lemons. I will walk a client right out the door. And so I'll never forget a story. Clients, I guess I could say their names, Mary and Frankie Garcia. I'll never forget meeting them. This is when I was marketing on Zillow. Didn't know them from a hole in the wall. I got a lead from Zillow. They asked me to go show up at the house. I showed up at the house, it was a flip, and it was a poorly done flip, but they're focused on the cabinets and the quartz and the this and the that. And they're falling in love with the house. And I'm kind of, keeping in the background, letting them enjoy the experience. I'm showing the home. And I'm like, listen, I really want to point out that the quality here is not great. So I want you to understand what a flip is. The definition of a flip is a home that has been distressed, destroyed, abused, purchased for pennies on the dollar, and then repaired and put lipstick on a pig to now wow you. I'm not here to wow you.
Yeah.
I'm here to help you
Lipstick
see.
on a pig.
I'm here to help you see through all this
Right.
stuff. So I pointed out this, I pointed out this, I pointed out this. I said, I'll be honest with you, there are good flips out there. I've done them. This is not a referendum on flips. This one is not a good one. And they looked at me and they said, don't you make money from selling houses? I said, absolutely, just not this one. And they're like, John, you are a realtor. And I purchased them a beautiful home, and they're happy, and I'm still friends with them on Facebook, and so that is my
So
that is
funny.
my way
Yeah.
of doing real estate. He said it before, the home sells itself. I'm not here to sell a home. I'm here to educate you, help you understand the pros and the cons of each house.
Yep.
We're going to weigh the warts. We're going to weigh the good stuff because it's used homes, right? There's going to be a yin and yang there. Ultimately, once we weigh the pros and cons, you decide if it's the right home for you. If it's the right home for you, then it's my job to present it in a professional manner, help you procure the home. Again, go through the transaction, keep it smooth, keep it simple, be available. Don't just get a deal and go
John,
on to the
I
next
have
one.
to know, how many houses do you sell a year?
A lot.
A lot.
A good amount.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, for doing it, how long I've been doing it, I sold, I think, 64 homes last year, which again, for one human being is a lot. And I'm licensed in 2 states, so I'm jumping over the outer bridge on a regular basis.
I love that you hold your integrity to the product and protect it.
I do. Again, you don't chase the money.
Yeah.
The money, if you chase the money's going to run away from you.
Absolutely.
Period. The end.
And I was always taught there's no bad house, just bad people. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
We're cutting that.
There's bad houses out there.
I'll be your agent when you want to buy a house. I'll represent you.
I don't need to represent
I'll
myself.
take care of you.
I didn't do so well the last time.
You know what I think is good too is that when you're representing the buyer, you're being totally honest with them. And instead of trying to hide behind the inspection, or if they find something that really bothers them, you have to go
100%.
Go right at it.
Yeah.
Go figure out do you need a roofer? Do you need a structural engineer? Get those people in there to decide what it really is and what's the problem, and are you feel comfortable with it or don't you? If you don't feel comfortable, then we don't have to move on with this.
And that's the key right there, is being willing to walk away from a bad transaction.
I agree 100%.
That, again, chasing the money thing. Oh my God, I got bills to pay. Oh my God, I have my rent, I have my mortgage, I have my this. If this deal dies, how am I going to get paid? Pushing the client through a transaction that really should have just fell apart. Even for doing what I do, I'm not going in crawl spaces. I'm not going in attics.
Right.
So 98% of everything wrong with the home, when home inspection happens, my clients already knew about it.
Right.
But there are still wild cards out there that I can't control.
Yeah.
And
But
if there's
the
a
thing
real
is,
problem,
if
then
you
we
have
walk
enough
away.
deals, if you have enough deals on your plate, doesn't matter.
But in the
Pipeline
beginning, you don't. In the beginning, you don't. So again, when I started my business, my first year in business, I made no money. My second year in business, I made $17,000. $17,000 gross, and I walked away from a transaction.
We'll come
So
back
again,
to
this
that
is
later
integrity.
because I think it's interesting to know like how far you've come. You know what it looks like not to quit, not to give up, to have the perseverance.
Absolutely.
Chris, what's your unique value? Other than you, other than you.
I think knowing my town, like I know my town front and back. 90% of my business is right there in Hamilton, Mercer County, or Burlington. Knowing the neighborhoods, I have a lot of right now younger first-time home buyers because of my kids bought their homes, and it just helps to know that they know that I'm going to steer them the right way. The parents know, if the parents have to be involved, I say bring them all with you. If they need to see the house before you put a contract in, then bring them every time. Don't just have them show up the last one.
That you let them come.
Oh, absolutely. Because I want to know who's making the decision.
You want to talk
If the parent is making the decision, they better come with us, and they better see all the good houses and all the bad houses.
And you know what else I really appreciate, and I think it goes so underrated, is being hyper local. And being able to provide that niche community experience.
Right.
And knowing what you sell.
Put them on the right street.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
it the
we were
right
just
development?
speaking about that this morning. People take these listings everywhere, and that's great, or represent the buyers everywhere, but they don't even know what MLS sometimes the listing should go in, or the nuances of the community. I could have used you when I bought my last home. I have an airport, I have a raceway, and something else that we weren't aware of because I wasn't familiar with the area that I bought in. Wow. The first time you see that plane come over your head, you're like, wow. Could have used somebody who was familiar in that area.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think, Kareem, is your
secret
your
sauce?
secret sauce? What are you selling?
My secret sauce, I can't say. No. It goes back to what they're both speaking about. It's, like I said before, we're in the business to change lives, whether they're selling or buying. And our job is to provide a service, educate them, protect them, hold their hand, get them to the closing. Be extremely patient with buyers because they don't know. So they're going to ask the same question maybe 100 times. Be patient, right? So for me, what I actually do is like John was saying, is just got to be honest when you're walking through these homes. You know, my technique that I actually do with the clients is once they've walked through the entire home, I always ask them, what's the pros and the cons, right? And I just want to feel them out. What are they thinking? You know, if they say, hey, you know, we need an extra bedroom, well, we're wasting our time. We're not
Right.
going to add another bedroom to this house. You know, let's just move on. You know, we'll keep looking to see if there's something that'll fit you that way. But when we're walking through the house and they're commenting, if it's, let's just say, a broken cabinet, a loose cabinet, you know, guys, you know, that's minimal. You know, don't worry about that. Let's see if it has everything else you guys like. Let's look at the important things: plumbing, electric, foundation, structural, roof. Let's look, you know, if the layout makes sense and there's minimal things that need to be done, we can negotiate during the inspection, right? If there's anything major, then absolutely, I fully advise them, don't do it. During the pandemic, I told all of my clients, I don't believe in overpaying for homes. Mm-hmm. They want, you know, every agent's out there, hey, here's an appraisal waiver. I always give it to them in verbal and in writing, just because when they decide to sell, they can't come back at me, you know, or, hey, why did you tell me to waive the appraisal? We should have done it. Well, I text you and your wife, here it is. You guys said no, you know, and it's happened, you know, that's why I do it. I'm very careful with it, but I always advise them, I don't believe in it. You can do whatever you like. You can pay cash, pay over asking by $100,000 if you like. However, I'm advising you, I wouldn't do it just because you don't know where the market's going to go. But you really want the home, your wife really wants it, the children want it, go for it. You know, if that's what you really want to do. You know, but, you know, again, it's like John was saying, we educate the clients, we walk through the home with them, we tell them the pros and the cons, because buyers are smart. They can smell commission breath from a mile away.
Okay, best closing technique or script that you use, because you all have one.
Best closing technique. Mm-hmm. Give me an example. What's a...
you know, you've taken, I don't know how many times you take out your buyers, as many times until they're ready. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you're no longer ready and your patience is thin, or 3 years later, or a year later, or when you know that they've walked into the house and it's their house, because we know there's this feeling that they get this like cheese face on them, I call it. Mm-hmm. And they're scared or they don't know. How do you move the needle for them?
So pressure is always the worst thing when it comes to financing, right? When it comes to people's financials. We're dealing with people who have, this is their life savings, maybe a death, inheritance, whatever the case may be. What we've learned, and we all know this from beginning of time, money is an emotional thing. Mm-hmm. When people spend money, it's an emotional process. My investors, my developers, they'll say, hey, send me the information. Without even going to see it, they'll take it, depending on the numbers, the ROI, you know, that kind of stuff, the location. They'll buy it without seeing it. First home-time buyers, they need to see, they need to touch, they need to feel, they need to be babied. Now, if I get to the point where I've shown you, let's just say, because my max number is like 15 homes. After 15, I'm like, listen, can I have I like to have a conversation with you guys. And I'm very blunt because they can only respect that. You'll never get a Zillow review saying I lied.
Yeah.
You'll probably get the review like, hey, he came off pretty hard on us. You know, and my thing is, and I actually have a client that I recently fired because he killed the deals every time he got accepted. You don't kill deals in this kind of market. He got nervous. He did it 3 times. The 4th time I said, sir, I don't think you're ready to buy. Call me when you're ready to buy, or I'm just not your agent.
Right.
He was so upset. I'm so sorry. Please don't do this to us. You've been with us. We trust everything you say. Because I've told him, don't buy this house. Bad investment, bad house for your family to live in. Don't do it. So now the guy's under contract, right? It was a push, right? I didn't make it aggressive. I just said to him very kindly, I don't think I'm a right fit for you. I don't think you guys are really ready to buy a home because I've brought you the services of everything you need and you've killed 3 deals.
Yeah.
And I'm not in the business to just write contracts. I'm in the business to close, right? That's my job.
So you're a takeaway closer.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's important to identify what our natural closing style is and what we're comfortable with.
Yeah.
Because most people would say, I'm not closing at all. But the truth is, it's
Right.
takeaway closing.
Right. You just be
Yeah.
honest with them. I mean,
Yeah.
I've let people go and I've told them, listen, when you're ready to buy, come back. I'll be here. We'll help you. We'll continue to give you customer service, but maybe this isn't the right time for you. And people have gone and came back 6 months, a year
Great.
later.
Yeah, of course.
You know,
they
and
trust you.
right, because we
appreciate
built that relationship with them throughout the entire process. I wasn't like, hey, this is the house you really want, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, basement. Let's go, guys. What are we
Yeah.
waiting for?
Yeah.
You know, it was never like that. It was, guys, if it doesn't speak to you from here, let's move on.
It's not for you. It's not for you.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think your unique value
So you can definitely tell when someone walks into the house if it's the right house or not.
Yeah, I
I mean,
think so too.
90% of the women buy the houses. They buy
Absolutely.
kitchens and bathrooms, and you don't really. I don't think I really have to sell them on anything unless I see something that. Same thing with you guys were saying about that structural or
Right.
major. And once they, those eyes. Sometimes it's only one house. That the closing that closed on Monday. I showed him one house. It was exactly what he wanted. It was a rancher next to his son.
That's beautiful. Way
Home
back.
run,
Thank you,
home
man.
run. It wasn't about the other 15
So what
before
about,
that.
Chris, what about in the instance where you know that it's competitive and there's multiple offers? How are you challenging them to rise to the occasion to compete?
Everyone is different. I have to say, every negotiation is different. It depends who's the listing agent. Do I know her? Where are they coming from? Are they my age? Are they a classic? Are they one-time wonder? They do one deal and they're gone. I have to know what I'm dealing with. Once I know what I'm dealing with, then I arrange my
You can
outfit
massage
who I'm
it.
using. I dress the way. If I'm going to see an older person, then I dress with a longer skirt. If
you
I'm
go.
going to see
Right.
younger people, they want to see
Yeah.
a short skirt.
They wanna
So,
see legs.
yeah. So you just your day and what those buyers need to them.
Based on your audience.
And the last one I negotiated, and this is crazy because you as an older timer like me, I literally printed out the contracts. This house was a condo and 55 and older. The agent was at every showing. I knew she was at every showing. She told me that. So I went back the following day after my buyer said, this is the one. I did the contract. I printed it out, 2 copies, like old school.
Wow.
And I went and hand delivered it. I saw when she was showing it next, and I hand delivered it. I said, I'm outside. I'm just here by myself. I'm not with my buyer. Can I be the next one in? And this was sort of during, the times that they were letting one person show at a time. And she was like, I can't believe you're doing this. I said, well, my buyer really wants this unit. And I thought, if you're a seller, it's a great number. If your seller's coming home, you could just have her sign it.
Yeah.
Maybe she doesn't do DocuSign. Maybe, you know what I mean? So I knew what I was sort of dealing with, and I just changed my business to that.
I love it. I love it.
And it worked.
Yeah.
I got it. We
Good
closed.
for you. And your client.
And he's so happy.
Yeah.
And he's so happy. And that's a good feeling. Like, it's just a great feeling to know that they're happy.
You're up, Johnny.
I'm up. My
You're
turn?
up. What's your best closing script?
So we're at closing script. Okay, so
Okay.
for me,
I know you have one.
Well,
Don't disappoint me.
I know I will not. So I don't close. So I don't believe I close. My job is to be a leader. My job is to guide my clients. They don't know what they're doing, and it's my job to guide them the right way, or else I am allowing them to waste their own time. Kareem said it before. It's their time. Their time is valuable. I don't even consider my time valuable. I'm the one making money. Their time is valuable. I'm earning. So the only closing I do is when I'm selling myself. I can close. I'll sit there and tell them how I'm there to protect them, how I'm not here to sell them any home. I'm going to go, and that's the closing that I do.
So you close them on you.
I close them on me. So
Right.
that's the only sales I do. I'm selling me. I'm not selling homes. I don't consider myself to be a
And it's a
salesperson.
product you believe in.
And absolutely.
Yourself.
And in all honesty, absolutely.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, I might be the worst salesman you ever met in your life. I can't convince someone to buy something they don't really want. I can't do cars. It's just not me. So, but now once I sell them that they're my client, they're my buyer, and I bring them to homes and we find ourselves showing 5, 10, 15 homes, you have to be able to have the hard conversation with them.
Yeah.
You got to be able to sit there and say,
Heart to heart.
okay, because I believe that when your budget and your expectations are in line, we're going to buy a home within a month.
Absolutely.
At least putting in offers within
Yep.
within less than a month.
Yep.
A couple homes a week.
And you
When-
share that with them?
Absolutely.
And you don't use a closing script?
Well, I mean, again, if you want to consider it closing, and so
It's different now.
it is so.
That's
Again,
part of selling himself.
when I
That's
hear
part of
when I
selling
hear
himself.
closing, I hear.
You're good, John. You're good. You had me. I was like, wow.
John comes in with the tap shoes.
85 reviews on Zillow.
But
Own
when they're disconnected, you'll never find a home.
Absolutely.
So if I continue to see bad home after bad home after bad home, if you've seen 10 homes that you can't stand, is the 11th going to be the unicorn? Is the 15th? Is the 20th? How about the 25th? Nothing is going to change.
Right.
So we have to change. We have to change our expectations. Maybe we have to change our budget. Maybe we have to change the style home. Maybe we have to change the location. You have to be able to have that proactive conversation with your clients. And so that's what I always do to walk them up the ladder to get them closer and closer to success.
I love that.
Yeah.
I genuinely think you guys are all wonderful.
Thank you.
And everyone out there, I think there was a lot of like great nuggets that we shared.
Yeah.
Is there something that you took away from one of each other that you want to share right now today?
I can say that I have a lot of respect for both of them. Listening
Likewise.
to other solid agents that aren't out there for the money. No, because agents get a bad rap, right?
Yeah.
People start talking about us like we are used car salesmen.
I said that yesterday.
We're not. We're
Were
not.
you there
We're
yesterday?
good people. No, it's not.
No guilt. No guilt. You didn't come.
I was out showing homes. That's right.
That's why your self-esteem is so low. Because we're literally right above car salesmen and politicians.
That's kind of where they put us. But there are good people.
I don't
There
think
are
so.
people that care about their clients.
I'm nowhere near there.
And so hearing and there are some bad agents out there, but there's bad in everything, right?
Yeah, there's bad in everything.
And so knowing that I have colleagues that work in the same office as me, that we can pick each other's brains, be there for each other, and know that I'm dealing with a high level of integrity, that means a lot to me. So I think they both function in their businesses very similar to I do. And so did I necessarily pick up something that I could do differently? Not necessarily. But knowing the fact that I can give Kareem a call and me and him are very like-minded, that I can give Christine a call and we're very like-minded and kind of go through strategies or perspective things, that's a big deal for me. I'm a relationship guy.
I appreciate that.
And I think that what you both said about working on yourself every day, like what are you doing for you? Because you know what, I don't have to get up every day and be at the office at 7:15.
Right.
I'm there. It doesn't matter. I program my mind. I have my routine. I listen to Mel Robbins, or I listen to this one. You have to work on yourself. You can't always just be like this every day without working on yourself.
Absolutely.
And I think
Without growing.
Be a better you tomorrow than you were today. If
absolutely.
you're constantly working towards that, you're always trying to grow and build yourself.
And knowing that, you know what, good things are coming. So we didn't make this one, but you know what, the next good thing is going to come. And if I touch 5 more people over here, even though I thought maybe these were the ones that I was going to list or these are the buyers, something else is going to come in between because I did this.
Absolutely.
So
So
doing the
it's-
activities. for
Right.
success.
I mean, it's not like I'm cold calling all day long, but I'm calling my people, which it's more touches. The more people that I touch,
Absolutely.
it's going to come somehow
It's
back
gonna
to
come
me.
back to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kareem, did you take anything from this?
You know what? I'm honored to be here with you guys because I know
too.
about both of you guys and I know you're very successful. For me, I'm just, a peon compared to you guys.
A pebble,
that is so-
right?
that is
Five
so-
young
I'm-
years.
wait till you get 30.
much humility, brother. Way too much.
Wait till there's 30 years in.
Because trust me when I
We're
tell you,
gonna cut
you
that
don't
so
work
that-
in Remax first.
It-
And there
it
are a
seems
couple
genuine.
agents. There are a couple agents that you know they exist, and Kareem is one of those.
Thank
So
you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate
you're
that.
way
Like-
higher
Yeah.
than you may give yourself
thank you.
credit for, brother.
I appreciate
Very
it.
powerful.
I know that from this experience today, and again, I'm blessed to be here. This is an honor to be here and help change people's lives, other agents, and give them insight. But more so, what I love is we're all on the same page. We're on the same page that everything that I'm sure I said, you said, he said, we were all like, yeah, I do that,
Yeah.
or yeah, he's right. Yeah. Oh, I forgot. That's what I do as well. Right.
Yeah.
So sitting here, all you guys really did was give me a refresher, and it's inspirational. It's motivational because the proof is in the pudding, right? You guys have the numbers, the experience. You weren't in it for a short gain in this business. It's so hard to build a brand and a name, let alone manage it and keep it as long as you guys have. Anyone can sell 100 homes in a year or 50 homes in a year, but what are you going to do the next year? How consistent is that going to flow, right? And building our brand and our reputation for our clients, it speaks for itself. And I think we've all agreed that that's exactly what we did. We built our brand by being true and honest with our clients, right? And giving them the best VIP customer service that we possibly can, which is why we get the referrals, which is why we get them to resell their homes with us, which is why our business is moving, right? Numbers don't lie.
Yep.
You know, so.
And I think my takeaway is that you guys were all true to yourselves.
Absolutely.
And I think as you start on this journey and you go out and you own your own business and you challenge yourself, that often we're pulled and torn from that integrity scale to maybe change who we are or change our brand, and that you guys all held true. I think that's huge.
That's in
And
life in general too.
That's my takeaway. Yeah.
Definitely
And
is.
I
my
appreciate
last
that.
takeaway is that for everyone to be like this here, that as I meet you and I meet the team, just that takes a certain type of leadership to find those people.
Yeah.
And you know, I get more and more impressed with Carl and Olivier and what they've built
Yeah.
because they've been
Amazing.
able to find those.
I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, I've been with Olivier and Carl for the 5 years, and it was the best move ever for my career. They really taught me how to work on my business, not in my business.
I love
Work
that.
smart, not hard. Right. And even though I'm in the office every day, if I'm not out in the streets with my clients, and my assistant
what are
has
you doing
me,
in the streets with your clients? What's going on?
so yeah, if I'm not on the streets making the money, no. So to add to what you were saying,
Is there a corner we could find you on? No.
I'm normally on the corner by Quick
Big
Check.
sign.
I'm by Quick Check on the Parkway eating cookies and sandwiches.
Need a house.
Exactly. I
Like
do
with a sign,
the sign
yeah.
flips.
That's it. That's it. Who needs a billboard?
I'm
You
on
guys
the,
got
I'm on the
lives.
ShopRite cart.
Exactly.
You go to
ShopRite cart,
ShopRite and
yeah.
go look at me. I'm on every cart. And the kids go, well, hey, oh my gosh, look, that's Miss Chris. She's on every cart.
Yeah.
I go, yeah, if you pay for every cart, you can be on every cart.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So
like it.
Absolutely.
I just want to add one thing, just because I had an agent call me this morning that was asking for advice, and I'm sure everyone here can understand and relate to this. We all went through transitions. We all went through uncomfortable positions, right? It wasn't handed to me at 20.
Yeah.
At 21 years old, I slept on a park bench, and it wasn't because I came from poverty. It was because I decided to not move with my father and my mother, and I wanted to stay in New Jersey. However, I knew it was temporary. I know that in books that we read, and Bob Proctor said, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable and scared, then you shouldn't be doing it. So people out there have to understand, we're not here by it was a handoff. We're here because the hard work, the dedication. When I win an award at the Remax party, Carl always comes up to me and says, "You earned it. You deserve it. You bust your new wallet. You know what?" And I'm like, thank you, Carl. And he's like, "Kareem, you're in the office all the time. If you're not out with your clients, you're in the office." For me, I love to work in the office. I love being in that environment, helping other agents, going back to my broker, Olivier, picking his brain. But agents out there really should take away a lot of things from this interview. I think it was very powerful, but also that they have to understand they have to challenge themselves, because we don't grow when we're comfortable.
And
none
work.
of us grew.
You gotta go to work.
comfortable being
Like,
uncomfortable.
Like you gotta
Right.
get up every day
Exactly.
and work.
Embrace uncomfortability.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Fabulous.
And
I
it will
think-
come.
Yeah.
It will come.
It will come. Don't
The
worry
business
about
comes.
it.
If
It's
you work
on
hard.
its way.
You got this.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you.
And yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, thank you.
It's all
And
good.
thank you.
We thank everyone.
Yeah.
We thank
That's right,
everyone
that's
for
right.
being here.
The camera guy is shy. We thank
I'm really
him.
grateful. I hope that you uncross your arms a little bit later and we eat some lunch together. I feel like I asked you some
I never know where to do
questions.
this.
Like, what's happening? Why
Because I'm
is she
Italian.
being
I was
It's
so
worse when
doing
my
this
sister,
the
my
whole
kids do
time.
that. I'm like,
so
get your arms
funny.
down.
Oh, I sit on my hands. I sit on my hands.
This is
Yeah.
how I keep from doing that. But
Well, let's
sorry.
go eat. Let's go moms,
I
right?
look forward to it.
Thank you guys so much.